All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful philosophy for taking absolute control of your life and your outcomes. It's called the sovereign mindset, and it comes straight from the world of high-stakes trading and entrepreneurship. So everything really kicks off with this one core idea from the trading floor. In any system, any transaction, there are really only two roles you can play. You're either adding value to the system or you're taking value from it. But what's so fascinating is how this isn't just about stocks and bonds. Not even close. And that's the twist. The exact same dynamics that move billions of dollars around the globe also control your daily conversations, your friendships, your entire network. If you can understand this connection, you're on your way to unlocking the sovereign mindset. So let's break down how to get there, and we'll start with the number one trap that almost everyone falls into. Okay, so the journey really begins with a complete rewire of how you think about money and value. See, most of us are basically trained from birth to see the world through a lens of scarcity, and it shows up in one super common habit. I mean, just think about it. Be honest. When you open a menu or look up a flight or think about buying some new gear, where do your eyes go first? If it's the price tag, you're subconsciously telling your brain that money is the boss of you, that some external number gets to dictate your choices. You're literally reinforcing the idea that you don't have enough. And you can see the contrast so clearly here. The default mindset, the slave mindset, is trapped by price. It's always asking, what does this cost me? The sovereign mindset, though, sees money as just a tool. It's not the master, it's a shovel. It comes from a place of abundance and asks a much, much more powerful question. This is the question that changes the entire game. What's the return on investment? It completely shifts your focus from what you're losing, the price, to what you stand to gain, the value. It's a fundamental flip from a defensive mindset to an offensive one. Let's make this real. Is a $300 dinner expensive? Not if it sparks a conversation that lands you a $10,000 contract. Is a $2,000 camera a cost? Not if it makes your content 10 times better and blows up your audience. You see, when the ROI is high enough, the price basically becomes irrelevant. So once you really master this idea of value over price, you start to realize something. Money isn't actually the goal. It's just a tool you use to buy the one resource that is truly, truly finite, your time. And this brings us to the next level of mastery. Time sovereignty. Now this is the real flex. It's not about the fancy watch, it's about the ability to do what you want, when you want, without being a slave to a calendar or a computer screen. It means the market doesn't own your schedule, you do. This whole hustle culture thing sold us a lie. It said that more hours automatically means more success. But in any high-performance field like trading, more hours just leads to being tired, which leads to making mistakes. The sovereign standard isn't about working more. It's about being brutally effective for a short period of time, trading from a place of confidence, not desperation. So how do you actually do this? Well, the source gives us this framework, the one trade per day philosophy. It's all about surgical precision. First, you figure out your single biggest advantage, your edge. Then you execute your trade with total focus. And, here's the key, win or lose, you walk away. One and done. You take back the rest of your day, trusting the market will be there tomorrow. That is real freedom. Okay, so you've rewired your relationship with money, you've started taking back your time. The final piece of the puzzle is mastering your external world, and specifically the people in it. And this takes us right back to that metaphor from the trading floor. Remember where we started? This idea of liquidity providers and takers? Well, I want you to apply that concept directly to your social circle. Think about it. Every single person you interact with is either adding to your life's liquidity or they're draining it. And the difference is just, it's night and day. We all know the liquidity takers. They're an energy drain, they consume your time, they always seem to show up with a problem but never a solution. Liquidity providers, on the other hand, are the total opposite. They walk into a room and the whole vibe gets better. They bring the opportunities, the clarity, the value. They don't just show up for the dinner. They're the reason the dinner is happening. And this is exactly why curating your circle isn't just a nice idea. It's a strategic necessity. If your environment is full of people stuck in that scarcity mindset, the takers, you will absolutely hit a liquidity crunch the moment you try to do anything big. Your ambition will literally be starved of the energy it needs to survive. So, we've talked about value over price, sovereignty over your time, and mastery over your environment. All of this really comes together in one final, really powerful idea. This is the ultimate expression of the sovereign mindset. This is it. This is the call to action. A sponge just absorbs what's around it. It takes. But a source? A source generates. It provides. This is the shift from being a consumer to a creator, from being a taker to being a provider of value, of energy, of opportunity. It's about deciding to be the person who adds liquidity to every single room you walk into. And that really just leaves us with one last crucial question to ask yourself. In your career, in your friendships, in your life, are you draining the energy out of the system, or are you the one creating it? The answer to that question, well, it determines everything.